All right. Sorry for starting a minute late. I usually prefer to be punctual. Pick of mine. Um, so tonight I'm using sort of the Google Play feature. It up so there's not so much of a rough delay, but it still seems like I have a few second delay. So if my speech pattern's a little off tonight, so we'll just give it 1 or 2 more minutes, see who else is joining me. I had some people online register and things like that. If there's questions that you have for me, feel free to type it in the chat section there on the side. I'll work with questions tonight too. So yeah, one of the reasons that I want to try maybe doing one of these live streams a month is I'm really trying to develop this Carmelite social media ministry, and engagement with the audience is of the utmost importance. And being that Carmelite spirituality is very incarnational, means for me, as I understand that call, is to engage in all these different forms of media. And I've gotten some positive feedback in relationship to my live streams before, even with the technical difficulties. So if my speech pattern seems a little bit off, I'm just getting used to be able to speak, remember what I say, but then also hear the lag in the speakers. I set it up for, it shouldn't be that far off, but it's still off by 2 seconds on my end. Thanks, Sarah. So, I see I have baptized as a child, Roman Catholic, but was never brought into the faith and wasn't raised Catholic. So pretty much it's kind of my story. You know, I was baptized as a baby Roman Catholic. My grandmother on my mom's side of the family made sure all of her grandbabies were baptized Catholic. But I was never raised in the faith. I think I remember some cousins' confirmation party. That's about it. I don't remember Catholic funerals. I don't remember weddings, etc. I came to the church in college. So, in there, LOL, no. Good evening, Ken. So yeah, so now there were 6 or 7 people viewing, and then of course this video will go up YouTube later. Is, you know, one of the reasons I'm starting this Carmelite social media ministry is because of the great gift and charism and spirituality that the Carmelite order has given to the church through the years. And both Pope Francis and Benedict XVI has talked to us about the need to be teachers of prayer. Sorry, hearing this leg is really sort of thrown in my thought pattern. It's really quite interesting. I have to maybe get some guidance from other great Catholic YouTubers out there to learn how to work in this sort of style. But so to your question here in a second, LOL, no. I promise you, you're giving me your time. I want to make sure I respect that time by answering your question if it's in my ability. So my website It's doing well. I'm almost at 500 subscribers on YouTube. I think I need 13 more. So if you know somebody that might benefit from my videos and podcasts, etc., send them links, help them to find it. I do a lot of, I just trying some new things this week in terms of plugging my social media, doing little trailers, introducing the content of the day. People seem to really like that. I've gotten some positive feedback. So I'll probably keep going with that. It was one of the things I learned at a local YouTube Catholic hangout that we have monthly. So that was a great little insight I would never have thought of. If I sound also a little funky too tonight, I'm coming off of a throat thing. I'm fighting, along with, I know, Mel, who's in the chat room right now, going through that. Okay. 16, by the way, New York. All right. I'm not a native New Yorker, although I live now in the great state of New York. Love the state. So if I read your question, where should I start to receive theological education? Well, where to start is, do a Google search to find out where your local Catholic churches are. And from there, just go to some masses and see how you are with the people there, see how the priest celebrates Mass, and then reach out, being that you're 16, reach out to the office there and look into religious education program. With being 16, being that you're a minor, of course, talk to your parents on this, or your guardian, whoever has sort of, for lack of a better word, authority over you, and let them know that this is what you're interested in, this is what you're thinking about in your life. And after you sort of get their blessing, go with my initial advice and, just go to a local church. I mean, you can read about the Catholic faith all day long, and I would encourage that. There's a lot of great books, a lot of great websites. There's also some dangerous websites, and there's some dangerous books out there, but that's with anything. But you really have to get out there and be with the people and just spend time and get to know the people in the church and etc. Mel has some good stuff. I know she just stepped up and she's working with 6th grade, I believe, at her parish. Well, yes, you want to receive education, what it is you're receiving. I mean, if you read 1 Corinthians chapter 11, St. Paul gives a pretty stern warning not to receive the Eucharist unworthily. There's issues that come with that. So, and it's a process because, the life of a Catholic is about communion. It's about intimacy and becoming one with our Lord through, sacramentally, going out and helping people, education-wise, getting to know, the Lord wants to be our friend, so we need to know more about him and spend time with him. So the prayer aspect, aiding him and the people around us through different, maybe ministerial works, whatever you might be called to do. All these different facets, and it takes time and it takes patience to build a relationship. You have to be willing to commit yourself. So yeah, always work with your local priest. I don't know what diocese you're in here. I don't know the expectations of that diocese. Just, after talking with your parents and or guardian, go out to a local Catholic church and just be with the people and learn from the people and get to know the priest and expect, LOL, no. Email me through my website and etc. And I hope to follow up. Yes, Tara right here. Don't forget to read the Catechism of the Catholic Church to first understand the beliefs. Yes, read the Catechism of the Catholic Church. I would always recommend reading the Catechism of the Catholic Church within a community. So if you have questions, reach out to them. Excuse me. It appears the longer I talk, like the longer the delay is. It's quite fascinating with this live stream. Camera's messing up. It seems a little blurry on my end. I don't know how it looks on your all's end, but I use the Logitech, and it's supposed to be HP, so I hope the image is a little clearer. So now that I've answered LOL No's question, I wanted to talk a little bit about the theme of my social media stuff this week, because I want to try to have at least a theme every week Or if I can't do that, at least with a week, have a serialization of my YouTube videos. So like maybe every Thursday, have part 1, part 2, part 3 of a different spiritual topic in relationship to the Carmelite order. Learning from a variety of different Catholic YouTubers, and they recommended that to me, and I think it might be a good way for me to sort of present a nice, crisp wholeness to a particular aspect of the Carmelite charism, and also of my story too, because as I said earlier in this live feed, you know, Carmelite spirituality is very incarnational. So, you know, you can read the Carmelite saints, and I recommend that. You know, you can't sort of push their words aside, you know, but it also requires to be with the people, to be joined together, because the Carmelite rule calls us to daily communion, which it calls us to really to be with people, gather there the Lord's presence. Yes, Ken, that's absolutely right. What's that website? Masstimes.com, I believe. Or if you go to Google Mass Times, that website should come up. I used it myself when I travel for the order. So there's a lot of great tools out there. I know that the great people over at Catholic Connect, on a side note, they have been so helpful to me in getting my social media stuff going. And they're trying to develop a Catholic social media platform right now. And I know they're in a Kickstarter raising money for it. So if you go to their website, Catholic Connect, and check them out, people, they do a great vetting job in promoting different sort of Catholic speakers and other sort of Catholic informational sources. And if you have a couple of bucks, you know, I can testify to their kindness and to their authenticity and to their love of the faith. And they've been so helpful to me in terms of sharing my stuff on Instagram, giving me guidance how to make things, sharing my stuff on Twitter, just, you know, phone calls and conversation. Just, they're really good people over there at Catholic Connect, you know, and I don't want this to come across as a shameless plug. There's been so many great people that's helped me. Mel, I know, here in the live chat's been a great presence to me. Here and there. Sarah, who's not here right now, has been helpful. Tara's given me some great feedback on my writing. One of the great things I'm learning about the Catholic Church and sort of this new frontier that is the digital world is there's already some great Catholics here, and there's these great communities forming. That's just been a wonderful gift I myself have been able to step into that gives me a lot of hope. Because as a mendicant, you know, one of the things we were founded for was itinerant preaching, to go out to the street corners, to go out to, you know, the fringe areas, and to share the gospel. And digital world, I see that frontier and sort of the byways and the sideways and the highways being this digital frontier. So my social media ministry is a way that I can live out this itinerant preaching that I've been called to as a Carmelite friar. Right now, I want to sort of laugh a little bit because, you know, just to see myself on the screen, just to be out of sync, it's very fascinating to me. I used to be sort of a tech guy back in college. You don't play with these things for a few years, and next thing you know, you sort of, all these things have changed, and now I'm playing catch up. But luckily, I have a lot of great people to help me along the way. Sorry for the snorting to the mic. I apologize. You know, because I studied history and particularly database administration also, and archivy stuff, because I'm very fascinated by history. And one of the things that's coming out this week, as I write I write one monthly article for the Catholic Stand. Sometimes I write two. And my next Catholic Stand article comes out this Friday, and it's going to be on sort of a general recent history of the freedom of speech issue through the Supreme Court. And I'm using my sort of historical training through college, and I'm looking at some different court cases in relationship to the freedom of speech that we have here in the United States, and particularly the fighting words doctrine, with the way language is being used, that, you know, if you say things people don't like, you know, they say you're doing violence against them. That's a way to sort of try to embrace those fighting words doctrine, which gives a person, quote unquote, a right to defend themselves, which could be very dangerous for somebody like me, a priest who has to preach the gospel, people that do pro-life work out on the streets, you know, street preachers, etc. this article, I present sort of a general history of several court cases that have shaped the fighting words doctrine, and then I sort of give a Catholic response of what this current reality means for us. So if you like that, that article is going to be this Friday on CatholicStand.com, and I already have a variety of different articles up there. Things I'm doing this week in relation to my social media. The other thing is theme. So I mentioned a little bit that I want to try to get some theme aspect built into my social media platform, because right now what I've been doing is, I've been taking one day a week where I just go off into prayer. I either go down to Central Park or I go down to Battery Park. I just sort of get out of my area of the city and I just sort of put myself away in prayer, and whatever comes out, and that's what I do for my social media the following week. So I want to see if I can maybe have a little bit more standardization with that. But this week, being that Halloween's next week, I want to have that theme of evil, because I have received some emails on this topic before. People ask me about hell. People ask me about a variety of other things, including spiritual evil, being that people have also asked me about the dark night of the soul, and is that sort of connected with spiritual evil, which it is not. So Monday I had a podcast dealing with my sort of ghost hunting days back in college and dealing with people of paganisque practices. Today's video was on hell, and it's already over 100 views. It's gotten a lot of likes. It seems to be getting good traction. It got me a lot of subscribers today. So I'm very thrilled with that. I'm almost to 500. So if you know some people that are interested and want to subscribe, send them the link and ask them to subscribe. Podcast, because Monday and Wednesday are my podcast days. Wednesday's podcast is going to be on my personal encounter with spiritual evil. One of my first experiences in the seminary, my encounter was sort of an evil presence that impacted me. So I hope you. And then finally on Thursday with my other YouTube video, it's going to be on the topic of the devil. A lot of people ask me about the devil. I see the show Lucifer and other things that sort of try to put forward the devil in a redemptive way, like the devil can redeem himself somehow, etc. So I want to just put forward some general information on how Catholics can understand the devil through the scriptures. And all my stuff is very scripturally oriented. Catholics, we are called to just be immersed in the scriptures. So I share a lot of things from a scriptural foundation. Also, from my work with Glen Mary Home Missioners and my work with other different people from Protestant denominations, I've just really sort of built up a foundation on always sort of going to the scriptures that you can enjoy, even though it's about the devil. It seems kind of odd to speak like that, but there you go. That catchphrase, there you go, and I use those a lot. I'm trying to break myself with a habit. Sometimes it's a little rough for me, but so if you hear me say, oh, and there you go, that's just, it's sort of ingrained after many years of being raised in Michigan. The question, when did the idea come to you about doing all these forms of social media? Well, we've been talking about it, Tara, in the order for years now. And, there's two provinces of Carmelites in the U.S. In the Chicago province, the Pure Heart of Mary, have a website, and they've been putting forward they have a podcast, and they've been putting forward a lot of images with quotes that are very beautiful, that are very nice. But within my province, we've been talking about doing something like this for a while. And we have a Twitter, we have a Facebook page, and etc. But that incarnational aspect, that personal face, that getting out there and sort of being that voice that people can connect to, because Carmelite spirituality can be kind of scary. You try to read John of the Cross or Teresa of Avila, and you start getting into some of their deep thoughts, and you're like, what is going on here? So to sort of be that face and be that voice and to invite people and to encourage people is one of the reasons that I started this. And things I've learned from, I did radio work in college. I was on student radio for my university, and it was a student radio that broadcasted through the whole town. We had a license and everything. I knew certain media things already. One was a hook. So I was a friar. I'm very frank. I'm sort of direct. I don't like to beat around the bush. So the Frank Friar came to me after talking with one of my friends, Sean, back in Michigan, who has done radio work. So I started with doing a podcast, and then I had to get a website as a staging area, and I wanted to make it a place of beauty. So I'm very proud. I feel and believe that my website's a very beautiful place for people to go to. And then finally, YouTube. I got to try all these different platforms. So after my ordination, I had all these gift cards that the order allowed me to keep. So I just used those gift cards and I bought all these electronic equipment. The big light that's behind me, sorry, wrong side, over here, that was a gift given by a friend of mine up in Middletown, New York. So I hope that helps you, Tara. I love being a Carmelite friar. I love my order. I'm very extroverted. I know there's a lot of people out there on social media, and I believe it's just that place where Carmelite spirituality can really connect with people to help them maintain, and if they don't have it already, cultivate some level or atmosphere of silence so they can begin to live in allegiance to Jesus Christ through this life of prayer that Carmelite can help teach all those around them. Yeah, Terry, you also say what you should do is take a day a month to learn how to take. All my stuff seems to be good. I think it's just my Wi-Fi here is producing somewhat of a lag. You know, we have 5 guys in the community here, so if someone else is on the Wi-Fi, I think we have a lag time there. But there's a Catholic YouTube group that does monthly talks, and they have just been a great help for me. So on the side, a lot of YouTube videos on how to improve different software things, better integration, so I can offer better audio experiences. I'm saving up right now to get a new camera. The web camera's nice, but I want to get a better, more proper camera that I think will offer a better perspective. So when I do my YouTube stuff, maybe my head sometimes looks a little small while my hands look very giant. So people have gotten some chuckles about that, but yeah, there you go. So I want to make sure I don't miss any questions or comments. So no, I hope my advice helps. And there's also great advice here in the live chat feed. For the blessings, very appreciative. Michigan to represent. I apologize. I'm sorry if it came across like I'm apologizing for being a Michigander. I love being a Michigander. It's just I know my catchphrase is kind of a little monotonous at times. So, but I love being from Michigan. I will always be a Michigander. I will always support the Red Wings, the Lions, and the Tigers. You can't see it, but I have a Detroit Tigers hat. My parents got me behind me, a little stocking cap. Aaron Ricci, oh, one of the great people from New York here. Wonderful. Wunderbar. So to get back to the topic of theme, this week is sort of addressing that get more portal camera that should take all over. Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, Tara. Getting a little sidetracked here, but that's what I wanted to do is I wanted to get a nice little portal camera I could take around some of the teaser videos that I'm using. I just use my phone that I have through the community here. But I wanted to get a nicer camera where I could do something like that and maybe do like Mel does, maybe every now and again, a little journey with a friar throughout the day stuff. But I definitely need a better camera because this webcam plugs right into the computer, so I really can't take it around the place. Back to a theme. So this week is the theme of evil, talking about the devil, about hell, but evil never has the last word. So next week, I really wanted to focus on All Saints and All Souls, sort of that heavenly reality. So I believe one of my podcasts are going to talk about my experience with local police officers in the practice that they have within their hats of putting a saint card in there along with family pictures that they carry with them. I want to talk a little bit about All Souls and how our relationship still exists with those that have passed, that death doesn't have the last word anymore. So address that. So, you know, I'm just trying to nail down some different aspects for my social media content next week. But I really wanted to focus on that All Saints, All Souls motif, open to get some things regularized in November. And then I'm working on a Advent idea right now. But Advent's a little different this year because I think we lose the 4th week totally, because the 4th Sunday of Advent, that night is the vigil for Christmas Day. So the 24th is actually the 4th Sunday of Advent. It's the time through the different cycle of the season that it's the shortest time for Advent. So it's a little sad that we lose that whole 4th week, but so any new people that's coming in, if you have a question for me, put the question in the box there. I'll do what I can to answer it. I'll get information for you. You know, I don't like to waste your time with sort of fluff. That's why I'm called the Frank Friar. So, journey forward. How do I want to put this? I have done some collaboration, some more of that in the future. There's the great people over at Ladari Outreach. We did a video for each other's channel that was a big hit. We got a lot of views out of that. He had a spirituality talk on Dominican spirituality for my channel, and then I did a talk about Teresa of Avila, the interior castle, on his channel. But on my YouTube channel, there's a collaboration. I also have two ladies, the Enlightenment channel or something like that. I forget their name off the top of my head. But their videos on saints are there. So if you're interested in sort of different collaboration stuff, or if you're in here and you're a YouTuber yourself, reach out to me if you want to do a collaboration. You know, we'll see what we can do. But there you go with that. You know, also coming up, one of the things I might do, because I've had some serious videos on my channel so far. I just did a video recently on the Me Too campaign, dealing with sort of women using that hashtag and sharing their story of sexual assault and or sexual violence in their life, because I was sort of just dumbfounded with all the women that I knew personally that were using it on their social media stuff, people that I was never aware of. And I was really quite shocked by that. So I wanted to make that video. Even though I myself have never been sexually assaulted or harassed, etc., but also to offer a little bit of maybe a male response of what we can do for the women in our life if they want us to do. You know, myself being a priest, you know, I work with women all throughout the day, whether it's at the schools I teach at and work at, whether it's here in the parish. So I just felt the need, and after time of prayer, I made that video. I think I might do some things in terms of my ministerial experience here in the Bronx. We've had some violence issues. You know, we've had kids attached with our parish get cut. We had a local boy at a school that isn't connected with us get stabbed and die and get killed. We have a terrible bullying issue going on. And, you know, just to speak out about that, it's just, there's a lot of darkness in this area happening right now. And, you know, within the classroom, I'm trying to be a presence. Us and the other teachers are trying to be a presence. You know, I heard they use just some terrible language about women that just put a sadness in my heart, you know, to see someone so young just have that view of women already instilled inside of them. And, you know, knowing that I've had some this channel already, you know, I might every now and again make a video about that. But one thing I really want to avoid on this channel is I'm not going to deal with politics. I'm not going to talk about political leaders unless there's some aspect of genocide or terrible violence that occurs. There's too much politics all over the place. I say inspires a political action. That's awesome. That's great. That's wonderful. But you know, I don't want to deal with Republicans and Democrats and all these sort of things. I want to deal with concrete stuff on the ground through my ministry. But you know, I guess I'm sorry, but that's my philosophy right now, because my social media content stuff is to share my Carmelite spirituality along with sharing my personal experience is being shaped by my Carmelite identity. So kind of blunt at times too, so if I offend your sensibilities, I'm a Midwesterner, come from German background, Frank's in my name, so there you go. So yeah, so just be aware, but you know, I will tackle some social issues. Video on bullying. I did a podcast on the poor kid that was killed, and the one that was the murder on my podcast, and the bullying and the insults, and there was racial language that was involved in that, also with derogatory statements about homosexuals in that encounter. And you know, as a priest, as a Carmelite who's called to be a prophet, you know, I really can't be quiet about that sort of stuff. So expect some maybe social comments, particularly if it arises from my ministry. Our big rise in homelessness issues here in New York City. You know, one of the local churches that have closed that we've merged with here at where I'm at. Thank you for your time. You know, we've had squatters get in the building and threaten some of our school workers with baseball bats, and there's a possible gun thing. So, you know, I got to speak to those things, but I always try to seek an understanding on and try to get the pulse of the situation. And like Elijah, you know, allow myself just to remain in the silence, to listen to Jesus, to be impacted by the society in which I live in order to step forward with the necessary responses I feel I can as a Carmelite friar and as a priest in the Catholic Church. My schedule outlook for my social media stuff is spiritualist based, although tomorrow's podcast is a little bit personal about an encounter with an evil entity. So yeah, and if you guys have ideas for things you'd want me to talk about, or ideas that might be interesting for people, or things you've always been curious about, you know, email me, thefrankfriar@gmail.com. You can reach me through there or through my website. So either one, thefrankfriar@gmail.com or thefrankfriar.com, both works. We've been going on for 33 minutes. This to the end and realized, thank you all for your support. Many names and many people I know in the live chat. I've received so much support and guidance from a variety of people there, and I'm very thankful. I'm very new to this stuff. I'm still crafting my own voice myself, but every podcast, every video, I try to do better and better and better and better, because I believe when people give me their time through watching these things, through listening to my podcast, through reading my blogs, of what I put out is a way that I show respect to you all. And one of the big values that I have for myself in my life is that value of respect. So putting out good quality stuff is of the utmost value for me. And if it comes between putting out trash or not putting out something, I'm not going to put out something. And I'll put out an apology saying, sorry, I missed the deadline. But I'm not going to put out trash, because the people that have subscribed and the people that have followed me and the people that come across my stuff deserve as I can put forward, knowing that I'm not perfect. If you're looking at a saint, if you think you're looking at a saint, need prayers just like everybody else. Carmel is that this interior journey always leads to sort of an external care of those around us, and internally, I always like to just have that time internally to make sure that I'm staying in union with the Lord. It's sort of the Mary Martha principle. I start with Mary so I can get to Martha. So thank you all for your time. 100 subscribers on my YouTube. My goal is to get 10,000 views and to get 1,000 subscribers. And then when I reach those, I'll reevaluate my goals. But I'm almost halfway there in terms of my subscribers. I'm over halfway for my views. So if you know somebody that might be interested in my kind of content and what I'm doing here on the Frank Friar channel and on the Frank Friar podcast, please share them. Please share with them links from these things and ask them to subscribe. It really does help me. And if you have topics for me, please share. Like I said, I'm going to keep trying doing the best. And no, please know this. When I wake up and I answer my prayer time, all those that subscribe to me, all those that follow me on social media, I pray for. I offer you up for several minutes every morning in. So if there's something that you specifically need me to pray for, I'll lift it up in prayer. If you want, I will have my community here pray for you. If you just something in general, or just say, Father, it's a special intention, and you just want to say special intention, that's okay. You can tweet out to me at Carmelite Nick. That's my Twitter handle. Or you can email me, follow me through my Facebook. But, you know, first and foremost, I'm here as an agent of prayer and as a witness of prayer, rooted in our Lord Jesus Christ for you all. I'm starting to get a little tired. I can hear my throat going because I'm still fighting a little bit of a cold. Thank you very much for your time. I'm very appreciative. And as I said, know that I'm praying for you all. I hope you like my podcast tomorrow. Enjoy my YouTube video on, and if you can, please give me some feedback. It really does help me. Leave comments on YouTube. It helps me. All right. If you want to get a dialogue going, for example, on hell today, the topic, trust me, I did not exhaust the topic of hell. Many more things can be said. So if you have some ideas or thoughts or questions, leave a comment on the video. Engage everybody at least in the first 24 hours. Why don't you introduce your community in your podcast? Tell me what you mean by that, and I'll see what I can do. I have a general intro that I'm going to start doing on my podcast. You know, this is the Frank Friar podcast, etc. I go into the story, sort of an NPR style, I guess, and then I end with the general plug, please subscribe, etc. Oh, what is it? Let me look up that app. I'm looking at maybe like Discord as a way of developing a community. So like, I don't know if you've all used the Discord thing as a way of people that are interested in the podcast. Oh, thank you, Tara. I know you will. You do a great job. Thank you for particularly in helping me craft a better writing style. I'm very appreciative of that. But, so yeah, so I'm just going to bring this video to the end. We're almost at 40 minutes. Thank you very much. And I'm glad you found out that you can be confirmed. I will be praying for you. More details. So I'll be praying for you. I know you mentioned this to me on Twitter before, so you bet you're in my prayers. Well, later I might go do something on Facebook for 10 minutes because I know not everybody uses YouTube or has Gmail stuff to use YouTube. So I might just do 10-minute follow-up on Facebook. So if you're my friend on Facebook, you'll probably get some sort of live broadcast announcement. And thank you very much for your time. You've all been very good and kind to me. Know that I'm praying for you. Take care. God bless. And know that I'm with you. And as my sister in Carmel, Avila teaches, Christ has no hands but yours now. And as we go forward as a Christian people, please know our voice is the voice Christ has used to speak his words of wisdom now for the world. Our hands show forth his charity, our eyes show forward his mercy, and our heart goes forward and spills forward his love on everybody we meet. So please know you're not alone. I'm praying for you, and may God continue to bless you. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen.